Welcome to my studio. I'm Eliane Paulsen, psychologist and expressive arts therapist, and I love to share the creative process and the bliss it brings with you. Today I will recap the recipe to get into our own spontaneous creative process, and then we will look at working with a specific intention. Although it's absolutely wonderful to have the time and space to just see where the creative process will take you without any expectation or intention, sometimes there's a specific aspect in your life that you would like to explore. It might be a relationship, it might be a tricky current situation, it might be a specific choice that you would like to make. And to access more than just the mind, we want to get some insight and understanding from the intuitive side of our minds. It's Carl Jung that said that sometimes the problems that we grapple with in the mind is solved by the hands. And this is a process where we will allow the creative process to give us some more perspective. The basic roadmap, or recipe if you like, to get out of our thinking minds and critical judgmental minds into an intuitive creative process is firstly to start with giving yourself the time and space and the permission to play. It sounds very simple, but without that step, nothing is going to happen. So simple step, but take the plunge and do it. The second step is to drop into the now, out of our minds into our heart body space. And it's very simple as well to just focus on your breath and do some movement. Is a wonderful way of getting out of the mind and staying connected with the current moment. The third step is to create from this place of silence. So once you are out of your mind and thinking in more of a feeling space, to stay there and let the creative process unfold. So setting up your things beforehand, you can move from the movement, even if it's small movement of hands on paper, breathing, to create. In this case we use pastels or crayons on paper or color, and let the one mark lead to the next without any planning or wondering what's going to happen. Let the process just unfold. And then when you're done, it is time to reflect. So just doing the art process is absolutely amazing, and it's not necessary to reflect on the end process, but that's an extra treasure and gift that you can explore. So coming back to working with the intention, we have an intention in mind like should I move to Canada, or why am I frustrated in my relationship, and that in and of itself might be a little bit of a dilemma because you have a fixed idea. But we want to move past our own understanding and our own minds, because that's where we understand how everything works. So we are going to write down firstly our intention. What is it we would like to explore? Sometimes it's a vague intention and sometimes it's a very specific intention. That already will help you and give you some insight into what is it that is this vague, nudging feeling. Now, the second step is very important because this is where you let it go. You literally just decide to not think about it. Take a deep breath and let that intention go. Then you follow the normal steps of dropping into the now, becoming aware of your body right now, and creating from that place of silence. Afterwards, you can reflect on what did you observe in the process. So you have an observing mind that is aware the whole time, but you invite yourself to go deeper and deeper, even with one or two mediums if you can. So let's see how I tackled this problem or exploration of an intention. I grabbed my journal and I wrote down the intention. I really wanted to choose something that's alive for me right now. And it's something like being in lockdown, being in touch with a longing for people and things that I can't get hold of now. So I prepared the paper and chose oil pastels, A little bit of movement just to get in touch with my body and the breath. And oil pastels, this is Pentel. Oil pastels is everywhere available. The choosing of the material in and of itself is an intuitive process where every material brings its own effect. And here, making that pink doodles, I really started to feel this loneliness, a longing, a vulnerability. And by staying with the process, going one mark at a time, it slowly unfolded, totally unplanned. I remember having a little bit of a judgment of it's a very pink drawing, but staying with the feeling of what's happening and the breath, I really got in touch with a part of me that I'm very familiar with, an old, or shall I actually say a very young part of me. As a small child, I felt very lonely. Here I remember tackling the red crayon, not knowing what to do, and having that split second of thinking, oh, now you're going to ruin it, but allowing the red to become this bright doodles. And the bubbles really unfolded, and staying with the breath, I got in touch with a little bit of the sadness, the loneliness, the vulnerability that I'm experiencing now in connection with the lockdown and missing my friends. Here I reflect now on what is happening. And what I did is just jot down the words that jump out at me. Sometimes it's good then to take a little bit of a break. Give your eyes a rest and then go back to your work and have a look at what is the impact it has on you. Really look at it as if you didn't make it. Well, you certainly didn't plan it. And how does this image, colors, feelings affect you right now? And what came up for me when I had a look at it is a real connection with the little me that could lose herself in painting and drawing and in imagination, taking wild flights on winged horses into colorful lands and making up myths and stories about princes and princesses. And I could really connect to that part of me, almost revisit her from my perspective today. And then what was really surprising is I remembered a book I had. Something in the work reminded me of Susan Boulet's The Goddess paintings, and I went and see if I could find it, and I was amazed at how alive and happy it made me feel. So I am off to go and explore my book, and I want to thank you for joining me on this creative process today. I'm really blown away by it yet again. And join us for next time when we are going to explore how to play with our voices